Hello and welcome back. How y'all doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. Okay, so I'm going to get right into it. This is kind of, I think, not my last video, but my video before this, kind of piggybacking off of it, but I just can't get these verses out of my mind. So I wanted to talk about them again and hopefully share a little bit more context. Hopefully I don't repeat myself. But we're going to be in Genesis chapter 4, starting in verse 3. And this is the story of Cain and Abel. Also, I got this camera. This is a Sony something. It's like a vlogging camera. It's like the Sony ZV-1 or the ZV-1F or some like there's letters and like a number. But it's a cheaper one. I didn't get the more expensive one. But it's nice because now I get to like use my phone. I get to have my phone and I get to like look things up because before I wasn't able to do that. And then if somebody calls me, it won't just completely stop my recording and I wouldn't have to start all over. I can just keep going. I can just stop the phone call. It's beautiful. And I just got a new laptop, so hopefully I'll be able to like edit. My friend's gonna teach me how to edit. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm so technologically challenged. It's insane. Like I can use my phone, but with different things, I'm like, I can't. I'm not okay. Not that I can't. I just am very ignorant. So, I'm ignorant. I mean, I'm not ignorant, but I'm ignoring. Sorry. Anyways, I had to say that. Okay. So, yeah, this is exciting for me. I'm like so excited. So like I said, Genesis chapter 4, starting in verse 3, and this is the New Living Translation. We're going to get right into it. So, let's see. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of his firstborn lambs of his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked very dejected. Why are you so angry? The Lord asked Cain. Why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching, at the door, eager to control you. But you must subdue it and be its master. I'm going to keep reading. So one day, Cain suggested to his brother, let's go out to the fields. And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, where is your brother? Where is Abel? I don't know, Cain responded. Am I my brother's guardian, or am I my brother's keeper? But the Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed and banished from the ground, which has swallowed your brother's blood. No longer will the ground yield good crops for you, no matter how hard you work. From now on, you will be a homeless wanderer on the earth. Okay. So that's like a lot. I know. It's a lot. I know. But, sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. I want to look up the definition, or not the definition, synonyms, or read the synonyms of, subdue. So, but just to give a little bit of context as to why I'm talking about this is because sorry, these verses have been stuck in my mind, but specifically verse 7 when it says, sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master. And so there's two things that I kind of feel pretty heavy during this time is that the way that I respond and the way that I react is so important during this time. And not that it's not important in the past. It's always been important, you know, the decisions that you make, your choices, the way that you react, the way that you respond, obviously extremely important. But for some reason this time it feels very important. And also this verse, it's like it rings in my head. It's like, but you must subdue it and be its master. That keeps ringing in my head consistently. And so I'm just going to read the synonyms. I remember being younger and pronouncing synonyms as cinnamons. I feel like a lot of people did that though. It's not very but I think it's cute when like kids are like the cinnamons. Anyways, okay, so synonyms for subdue is to conquer, to defeat, to crush, to squash, to beat, to tame, to humble, to control, to govern. These are just a couple of the what's it called? The synonyms. But so one of the many things that's really important to note over is the fact that God said this means that we are capable, or that he has given us the capability to be able to control our actions and our thoughts. And I know like there will be thoughts that just kind of are like, what's the word? Like injected into your mind. And you're kind of like, where the heck did that thought come from? What are these intrusive thoughts? That's what they're called. And there will be feelings that arise. You might feel angry. You might feel jealousy. You might feel resentful. You might feel vengeful. You might feel anxious. Like you might, yeah, like that's gonna happen. We're human beings and we have the capability of feeling. But the important thing is what you do with that feeling. Because God didn't punish Cain for feeling the feeling. He only punished him after he did something, after he made the decision to allow his anger to overtake him, which resulted in him murdering his own brother. So, you know, we're going to feel these feelings. It's not like, because sometimes I get like, I almost shame myself for feeling a feeling, but it's really, what are you doing with these feelings? What are you doing with these thoughts? Are you allowing it to just like wreak havoc in your life? Are you allowing it to control you and to control your emotions and to control your thoughts and to control your actions? Or are you reeling it in and literally like getting a grip on reality and getting a real grip on the situation? And how are you responding when you feel that, you know? And that is so important, especially in this time. I feel like I never really was like a physical reactor, and anger isn't really a thing. Well, no, that's a lie. anger is a thing that I struggle with, but not really, if that makes sense. I don't know. Should I explain that? It's like a thing for me, but it's not. On a day-to-day basis, I'm not naturally an angry person. In fact, it takes a lot to get me angry. But there's certain things that really, get my gears going. There's certain things, right? And when I'm angry, I'm angry. I'm not just like, yeah. And it depends on like the time of the month too. It all depends on, but naturally I'm not necessarily an angry person. It takes me a lot to get angry. What was the point of that? I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say about that, or why I was even saying about anger. But yeah. So I don't know. Those are the two things that really are just like that keep ringing in my mind is the response, how I'm reacting and how I'm responding to different situations, and am I actually like correcting myself. I've been doing a lot of that recently where before I would like let's just say I was having like really negative thought patterns about myself or about another person. Or honestly, normally it's really about myself. So if I was having a really negative thought process that in turn got me into this depression and me being out in public, and now I'm full blown, I'm in it. I'm tapped in. Okay? I am tapped in. And I'm just in it, and I'm just sitting there, and my mood has completely changed. And then because my mood has completely changed, now I'm being negative. And I'm just like, and I might not be saying anything negative out loud, but I'm just negative in my head about everything. And back then, I would be like, well, I'm already here. Might as well buckle in, And I'm like, I've already made my bed. Like, I need to lie in it right now. Like, I can't just come out of it and just act like happy. Even though I wanted to. I'm talking about like when I'm in public, If I was like with my friend and, I'm like bringing the mood down, not on purpose, just having a moment. I'm like, oh, well, now I can't. Like, I felt like I didn't have the choice to get out of that. But no, you do. You do. And as soon as you realize it, as soon as you come to that clarity of like, oh, hey, like I have control. I have control over this. Like, I don't have to let this control me. I don't have to stay in this negative energy. And sometimes it's easier than other times, and sometimes it's a lot harder. I still have very hard time sometimes getting out of a negative mindset. And sometimes it's like, oh wow, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Sometimes I just talk to God, or I just say a prayer like, Jesus, I'm coming to you and I'm feeling anxious. I need help right now. Please give me the strength, give me the help, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I feel better. And then sometimes it is extremely hard. And sometimes I don't even have the capacity to pray, or I don't even think to pray. That's how negative it can be. But that's the one thing that I'm really working on, is not just with that, but even with my anger, with different emotions, with, you know, like I said, the anger, if you're feeling, what's the word? Jealous, envious, resentful, vengeance, like whatever that might be, like being in the moment and correcting that in the moment, and to not allow it to control you, but that we must subdue it, that we must be its master, lest it overtake us. It overtake us. And then we see, like, in the following verses where it says that Cain literally killed his brother. I know that that's like an extreme example, murder. You know, I would hope that the majority of people, yes, obviously there's people out there that would murder, but I would hope that, most wouldn't. But still, even if it's not a physical murder, you're still like completely murdering, and I'm not using that word, I am, that relationship with that person. Like, Abel was just doing what he was supposed to do. He was just doing what he felt like God wanted him to do. He was giving God his, firstborn? Abel. He was giving the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. That's what he wanted to give God. He was just doing exactly what he thought God wanted him to do. He wasn't doing anything. It wasn't like he was taunting Cain. It wasn't like he was, I don't know, whatever. He wasn't being evil to Cain. He was just doing what he was doing. He was doing what was good. And because Cain could not get a grip and control himself and to control his emotions, completely severed that relationship that could have been a great and beautiful relationship. And unfortunately, it was death. So it's not like he could have been like, at least when it's not a physical thing, it's not physical death. Wait, what? Hold on. At least when it's not physical death. Oh, yeah, at least when it's not physical death, like, you still have the time, as long as you're alive and breathing and they're alive and breathing, then, you still have that time to hopefully change your attitude around and hopefully, Lord willing, come and, put that relationship back together again. But unfortunately, in this case, it's like, that is death. Like, he was gone. He can't go and apologize to his brother and say that he was wrong and that he should have never been jealous and he should have never let his anger, control his emotions, to control his self, that he made the wrong decision. He can't go back. He can't apologize to him. He's gone, But it is a very serious thing, even if it's not you're physically murdering someone. You know what I mean? It's a very serious thing because it really does brings death either way. It brings death either physically or it brings death spiritually. And not just upon that relationship, but to yourself in a way too, because now you are trapped. Now you are trapped in your own prison. And now that is the filter that you are seeing life through or seeing that person through, and you're not seeing clearly. You're not seeing through a clear filter. Cain was not seeing through a clear filter. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't like Abel was mocking him. I mean, I don't know the personal relationship. Listen, I don't know. But I don't think the Bible ever says that, like, Abel was doing this and doing that and being mischievous. But yeah, it wasn't like Abel, as far as we know, wasn't out there mocking him and wasn't out there, doing this and doing that. It just says that he came and gave his best portions of his firstborn lambs, I think, right? Lamb. And Cain became jealous because God did not accept his offering, or God was not as pleased with his offering as he was with Cain's offering. And God said, if you do what is right, you will be accepted. You will be accepted. All you have to do is do what is right. And he chose the complete opposite direction. And yeah, so I just put that into today. Like, it's not It might not necessarily look like this, where you're like, killing someone, but it really is resulting in death. And maybe not, like I said, not a physical death, but a spiritual death when you operate out of that. When you operate out of jealousy, when you operate out of anger, when you operate out of resentment. These are not life-giving emotions. Like, and again, when you allow that to control you, when you are not its master, when you are not when you don't subdue it. Well, can I speak English? When you don't subdue it, these are not life-giving, like I said, emotions. It's only resulting in death, right? And like I said, not a physical, but a spiritual, because it's not, well, I don't want to say it's not fruit bearing, but it is fruit bearing, because you can bear bad fruits and you can bear good fruits. And I don't know of anybody else, but I want to bear. I want my fruits to be good. I want them to be like, I was just thinking about like a nice grape. When I go to the store, right? And these grapes look really good and appetizing. The yellow, no, not the green grapes, sorry. The green grapes. I only get the green grapes. My dad loves the purple ones, but I love when they're like sour. Like they're like a little sour, but still kind of sweet, but like they got that little bit of a kick to it. So good, right? And you go to the store and they look so good, but they taste so not good. Or when you go to feel them, they're kind of like mushy. They didn't look mushy when you were just looking at it from plain sight. Or even an apple. I've had times where I've gotten apples and they look really great, and I'm like, I can't wait to get home. Oh my gosh, it's going down once I get home. And I go and bite into the apple and it's nasty. It's like it's bruised on the inside, doesn't taste good. And these are real life stories, okay? Like, these are real life stories. No, but that also pertains to people as well. On the outside, people can look great. They can even look trusting. But just because they look like that, their outside is like that, doesn't mean that their heart and their inside is like that. So it's so, so, so important as to what type of fruit that you are bearing, And I used to think that, when you're not doing good, like you just don't bear fruit. Like you do bear fruit either way. You bear fruit. But it's like, what fruit are you bearing and what type of fruit and what is the quality of the fruit? Because just because it looks good, I don't want something that just looks good. I want something that tastes good. Like, I get really upset when I go to the store and I buy fruit and it does not taste as good as it looks. Because we all know that it's getting expensive these days, okay? So, yeah, I want it to taste good. I want it to have good quality. But anyways, I just think that that's like food for thought, no pun intended. But, yeah, just something to think about. Like, what type of fruit are we bearing? Just all the time. Like, all the time. And if we think that our fruit or our words or our actions are not bearing good fruit, or they're not life-giving words, and they're not life-giving actions, then we need to look inward and do the work on ourselves and ask God to help us and to point out to us like what is going on. Or if you feel like you're hitting a wall and you can't break through this wall, ask God, like, what is going on internally for me to feel this way, for me to keep feeling like I am just stuck and I'm trapped, in this thought process, or I'm trapped in just whatever it is, you fill in the blank. Anyways, I hope that this made sense. I'm not going to make this too long. It's already at 24 minutes. So I hope that it made some type of sense. But yeah, like I said, these are some things that I'm constantly thinking about, but I think it also is good for character development too. I think that we are constantly evolving, or we should be constantly learning and constantly growing. And I think that this is something that is extremely important for me, and I think for other people too, to just like have that realization of not letting these different emotions, these different feelings, these different thoughts to control you. Like, they're going to be there. These thoughts, these feelings, like, they're going to be there. It's just a part of life, and I think it's a part of being a human being. We have the capability to feel these different things, but what are you doing with that? Are you indulging in it? Are you encouraging it? Or are you actively trying to correct that and act in a proper manner instead of acting improperly, or, doing something that you might regret later, something that could be detrimental, that could have actual real life long-term consequences. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what was on my heart today. And yeah, because this, I don't know, it's very serious, and it's always popping into my mind, just that one part. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you. But you must subdue it and master it and be its master. Which to me gives me a lot of hope with God. Like, these are actual, like, God's words saying that they're, like, we have the capability, and especially through God, through Jesus, like, we have the capability to be its master. We don't have to allow these things to come in and control us and to dictate, the way that we act, the way that we respond, the way that we react, the way that we do and live our lives forever and ever and ever. We can break these cycles in our mind and in our lives. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. I mean, this is not a new thing, and isn't a new thing for me to hear or to realize. But I think, especially back, years ago, I thought it was just in my makeup. It was just in my DNA. It was just in my personality. It was just like, this is who I am. So I'm going to indulge in who I am, right? This is my identity. It's not, it's not. So I think it's important to really discover yourself, especially when you're a Christian, to discover yourself and your personality of who you are in Christ. Like, who are you in the kingdom of God, So anyways, that's it. This is so exciting to film on my camera. I hope that the quality looks okay, and hopefully we'll see if I can learn to upload this. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, until next time, adios.